Good morning, stampers and crafters. Welcome to Tina's Crafty Ink Spot and another Team Stamp It monthly blog hop. These blog hops are a lot of fun if you're looking for ideas and themes and things like that. We have some amazing people that participate in this blog hop and they want to share their stuff with you. Make sure you leave a comment below on this blog post, hashtag Stamp It contest, to be entered to win a free prize. And it'll be, all the details are below as to when the drawing is. There's no purchase necessary, you just have to leave a comment. And you can leave a comment on each one of the blog posts of the people participating, and you will be entered one time for each time. So odds are good there. Plus, you get to see some amazing projects. Today, my project idea. Okay, our theme is spring, but you know, springtime I send a lot of cards just because they're bright and cheery and it's nice to get happy mail. And when I thought of happy mail, all of a sudden I thought of this little mailbox. And I have family and team members in Texas right now that are just not, they've had a really hard go of it, and so I wanted to send a gift card to one of my team members who has been without power at the time I'm making this video for days, and her area is just not used to getting snow and ice, and so they're kind of, the whole town shut down. So I was thinking, well, you know what, I'm going to send her some happy mail and maybe a little gift card to a restaurant or something, because right now all the restaurants, everything's closed down. So we're going to make a happy mail card, and we're going to make this little mailbox, and it's super fun and simple. So I'm going to show you some die tricks too, how you can partially die cut and create things with your dies. So let's jump in. Okay, what you will see below on the blog post is I've also created a PDF tutorial for you. It's got all the products we use, and it's got all the measurements and the scoring and a step-by-step picture tutorial for you. So feel free to print that PDF and use it later. So let's jump in and get started. So I've already pre-cut everything according to our measurements and scoring. And the first piece we're going to start with is the card base, which is 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. So we're going to make sure that's nice and folded well. Bring in your bone folder and do that. Now, there's only a couple dies that we need to use to make this. And let me bring those in. Okay, in the Grace's Garden set, this is a bundle. Okay, first off, this is absolutely adorable. But in this die set, you have an arched fence, but you also have a plain arch. We need that plain arch right there. Now, originally, when I went to make this card, I was trying to hand cut a little mailbox, and then I found the dies that would do it perfectly. So that's what I'm sharing with you today. So we need that little die in the Ride the Range set. Okay, I love this set. I can't wait to play with it. I just got it. I live in the south central part of Washington State. It's a lot of farm country and wine country. This is a must for my farmer friends in the area. But with this has coordinating dies. In here, I think this is supposed to probably be to do a haystack or something, to make it look like a haystack. Well, we're going to use that die. Look at that little fence there. Isn't that cute? Come on. You know you love it. Alright. So we got that one. And then, of course, we've got snail mail. Snailed it. And we're going to be using the Happy Mail enclosed stamp here. And it's also got a postage stamp greeting die. So we're going to use that for our greeting on the front of the mailbox. We also need the stamp. So let's go ahead and pull that out. So get our stamping done. So I'm going to go ahead and use our postage stamp die. And we're going to cut out our postage stamp. I've got my die cut machine here to the side. So I'm just going to die cut that real quick. Now, when you get ready to emboss this, I did it in white embossing, so that's die aside. Let's bring in our stamp apparatus. I'm going to move our project card out of the way here. And make sure before you do embossing, especially on dark cardstock, use your embossing buddy. Okay, we don't carry these anymore, and you can see mine's pretty old. If you don't have one of these, get a used dryer sheet. And the object of these is to get the static off of the paper so that your embossing powder won't stick where you don't want it. Okay, so we're going to line up our greeting there. And we're going to bring in our Versamark, ink it up real good. Especially when you're doing white. I mean, you even may want to stamp it twice just so you get a nice coating of embossing powder. So I'm going to do it one more time. And then all I did, I'm going to move these here. Got a piece of scrap paper and some white embossing powder. Tap it off real good. I got that everywhere, didn't I? That kind of didn't. I must have smeared it a little. I'm going to grab my, I can just wipe off where I have extra here. Use your tweezers or a brush, or just give, I have a couple little stray white emboss there I didn't want to have on there. So I'm just kind of wiping it off. I usually have a tiny little paintbrush I use for this. I'm wondering if I didn't use my embossing buddy like I just told you to do, did I? Alright, we're going to pick this up because lo and behold, I'll hit it with the heat gun and we'll have embossing powder everywhere. You know you've done it. You know. Or you've spilled a container of it. I'll own it. I've done it. Let's go ahead and heat set this. There we go, we got it nice and melted. Now I wanted the little envelope to have a red heart, so take your Stampin' Blends marker, this is the Dark Poppy Parade, and you can color right over embossing powder. Look at that, we're going to create a little red heart there. There you go, look at that. So we got our greeting, we're going to set that aside. Now, let's get to the die cutting. Now, we're going to take our big die here, and I'm going to show you how to partially die cut. So we have our card base, and it's scored here. Lay your die so it's slightly over the top. You see the little gap there? because by not cutting all the way through that, that's going to give you a folded hinge. So we'll lay that on here. And now we want our card to be full length, but our die's not full length. But that's okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your second cutting plate and you're going to lay it just short of the bottom of the die. And you're going to run it through your machine. Because if the plate is not covering that, it's not going to cut it. So we're going to run this through our machine like this. And then what you're going to end up with is this, where it's partially cut without the bottom being cut. So we're just going to grab our scissors, and you can use your Stampin' Trimmer right here if you wanted to, but I think it's not that long, and we can always trim later. And I'm going to cut straight up to that line there. And there you go, you have your hinged card base. When you open it, because your die didn't cut all the way through there, you end up with a hinge. Okay? So now we're going to take our Pacific Point card front and we're going to do a partial cut of it also. So you can leave the die here, it'll be okay there, but we want to partially cut. Let me move that down a little. So we want to only partially cut and not cut the bottom. So you'll do the same thing. You'll lay your plate to where it doesn't cover that bottom and run it through your machine. If you have the Stampin' Cut mini machine, that's perfect. I just ordered mine. I'm real excited to get it. It's a small die cutting machine. It's manual, so I'm hoping I can use it, but it's just so neat that you can use on your craft space and stuff. I'll put a link to it in the supplies. Okay, so now we've done the same thing here where it's not cut all the way through. And what you can do, I'm just going to rough cut this. You might even cut it just a hair big. And then I'm going to lay it over my white. And because you didn't do the full die cut because of the hinge, when you line this up, okay, see where you have the little bit of difference where you didn't die cut? You're going to have a small amount here that is hung over because of it. So all I did was take a pencil, mark that, and then we're going to cut it off. So I'm just going to move this over here. So I'm just going to move, we're just going to line that up in the groove of our cutter and trim it off. There we go. So there is our entire card base. Okay. So now we want to cut our door. And to do our door, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to partially die cut it. So you're going to bring in your smaller arch, line it up, you know, here toward the top. I'm going to move it down a little. You can just eyeball it, give yourself, you know, a little bit of space there, because that's the door. This is the door we're creating. And now you're only gonna, wherever you lay the plate is the only place it's gonna cut. So we don't need a really big door. I'm gonna lay it maybe about there, okay? Let's move it down just a hair. Just in case somebody wants to put a big package in our mailbox. So we're gonna run that through and do the partial die cut. Make sure I'm squared up here. Okay, see, you did your partial die cut there. And then all you're going to do is fold down your door. Let's use our bone folder. Get a nice clean fold there. See there, there's your mailbox door. Okay, now we need to create the pocket. So for the pocket, I thought we'd use some Night of Navy. And we're going to bring back our large die, and we're just going to fully cut this out, because you don't need it to be on the legs, which we will be cutting next. So let's die cut that one. Alright, so now we've got our pocket piece. And all we're going to do is we're going to attach our pocket piece. We're going to line it up here at the top. And then what you want to do though, when you go to attach this, either use your tear and tape, glue, or a good strong adhesive. But all you want to do is barely do the edge. Okay, you don't want glue or tape in the middle, because that's your pocket. And then you're just gonna line it up. And there's your pocket. Look at that. Okay, so here's your gift card. Look at that, just slides right in. Okay, so now let's create our feet. So you can either permanently attach this at this point and cut your feet, which, let's go ahead and try it that way. I didn't do it when I made it, but let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to take this and attach it to our card base. Okay, see, I like using glue because, see, I can shift it around to make sure I'm on there square. Okay, we're good to go. Now we want to create our feet. So what we'll do is we'll bring in, and we're going to take the small arch, turn it this way, and all you're going to do is we're going to do another partial die cut. You can make your feet as tall as you want because you have quite a bit of room. Now you're cutting through several layers, which the machine does fine and the dies do fine. You may want to run it through twice just to be safe if you want. Let's line this up and create our feet. My magnet's being finicky. So now in this one I can just lay the plate solid over it and hope I didn't move my die. And let's run it through our machine. Okay, Okay, now I'm running mine back through because you are cutting through like 4 layers of cardstock. Let's see if we did that right. Oh, look at that. Piece of cake. Piece of cake. Look at that. Let's open our card. See? Now we have our little feet. It stands up. And we've got our greeting. So let's grab our greeting. And I'm going to attach that with dimensionals. Just to add some dimension. Now this will fit in a regular A2 card envelope, which is wonderful. I love that idea. Okay, I don't skimp on dimensionals, you know that. I don't want my stuff to collapse in the mail. So let's attach this to our mailbox. Okay, now we need our handle. So the measurements are on there. It's like 3/8 by 4, and then I've got the score marks for you. So we're going to basically be creating a little rectangle box. And you can use a glue dot here. I don't have mine with me, so I'm just gonna use glue. Put a little dab of glue on there. Hold it there for a second. Oops, I pulled it apart. Sorry about that, I pulled it apart. I had it. Okay, so a glue dot might work better here, just saying. Give that a second to dry. I have a little excess hangover there. All I'm going to do is just snip that. I might have did my score line wrong a little bit. So you're basically just creating a little rectangle. And now we're going to take and attach that. You can use glue dots or tape here. I'm going to attach that to our door. Make sure it's on there okay. Sorry about that, I just stuck my head in the camera, didn't I? Yeah, okay. Been there, done that. Don't judge. Look at this. Here is your adorable little mailbox. And you take, I think gift cards are about the size of a business card. And you just slide it right into your pocket. Okay? And then they open the door and just pull it out. So there is your adorable little mailbox gift card holder, and you can put a sentiment inside. In that snail that said is a perfect sentiment that says take time for the simple things. You know, and we've all missed going to restaurants. I know I have. I've had to actually have to buck up and cook more often. Yeah, I'll own it. I'll own it. I'd rather be crafting than cooking. Alright, you guys. That was today's project. There'll be a PDF tutorial you can print below on the blog post. Don't forget to leave a comment. We're giving away a fun prize this month. The drawing will be next month. The details are below. And I hope you all have a very, very happy Stampin' Day. Bye-bye now.